DreAllDay.com.
Now tuned in to the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you've expected to achieve is yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative. That's the go-getter energy that moves all of us out there, including you, especially you. It's going to make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. What we do is put all this together into one bundle, one package, one mindset, one method, one philosophy, one book, one show, one masterclass. This masterclass, the only daily masterclass on the mental game. There is no one else in the world of audio publishing who can do what happens here on this show, and it is called Work on Your Game. The host of this show, that's me. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic, what about equal opportunity? Let's talk about that. I already told you why overall equality is functionally impossible just a couple of days ago. But let me tell you what episode that was, just to make sure anybody who missed it. Equality is impossible was just a week ago, episode number 1622. But today, let's talk equal opportunity. Because when I've talked about this, the concept of equality becoming impossible, some people have pushed back and said, okay, well, maybe equality is impossible, Dre. I understand your argument, but what about opportunity? Shouldn't everybody have the same opportunity to get to success? Because everybody's not going to have they're not going to get the same results in equality. What about everybody getting the same opportunity? Is that okay? Is that something that people should be able to get? Shouldn't people be able to fight for that equal opportunity? My answer is no. Equal opportunity is not going to happen either. And I'm going to make the argument. I'm going to state my case. Why equal opportunity? Yes, you are hearing me correctly. Equal opportunity is not going to occur. All right. And I want you to follow very closely everything that I say here. Hold me accountable if I got anything wrong about what I'm going to say here today. Okay. Equal opportunity is not going to occur. I'm going to tell you why. First of all, let's get a definition of this word opportunity. Everybody knows what equal means, right? All right, the same, everybody having the same amount. Without using the word equal, I can't give any other definition. Definition of the word opportunity is a set of circumstances that makes it possible to do something. A set of circumstances that makes it possible to do something. That's the definition of opportunity. Definition of equal is being the same in quantity, size, degree, or value. So equal opportunity means everyone having the same quantity or set of circumstances that makes it possible to do something. This is functionally impossible, ladies and gentlemen. It is impossible for everyone to have the same opportunity. Now, right now, you might be thinking to yourself, or I'm going to plant the seed in your mind so that you start thinking to yourself, that we've been hearing a whole lot of people talking about equal opportunity. All right, we need social justice. Social justice is really about equal. A lot of people are talking about equal outcomes, which is impossible. But then, even if they are, let's just say they decide, I'm not even going to say they're convinced, but they decide, okay, equal outcomes is probably not going to happen, but everybody should have equal opportunity. Everybody, it just sounds right. Doesn't it sound right that everyone should have the same opportunity? Everyone should start at the same starting line. Everyone should have the same chance to succeed in life. Doesn't that just seem reasonable? Doesn't that seem like a thing that's, I don't think there's anything wrong with everyone having the same opportunity, starting at the same starting line, and having the same chance at success or failure in life. I think that sounds reasonable. The problem is it is functionally impossible. And I'm going to explain to you why that is here today, because I just gave you the definition of equal opportunity. Everyone having the same amount of circumstances that makes it possible to do something. Is that even possible? No. And I'm going to tell you why. Point number one. Topic once again is what about equal opportunity? That's the question we're answering here today. Point number one, should everyone have equal opportunity? No. Is it possible for everyone in the world, knowing the definition of opportunity, a set of circumstances that makes it possible to do something, is it possible for everyone to have the same set of circumstances? Is that even possible? Of course it's not possible. It is impossible for everyone to have the same circumstances. Not everybody could try out for the NBA. All right, that's the way it's supposed to be. All right, the New York Knicks are looking for a new small forward for their basketball team. Do they give the same opportunity to the 5'8" Asian guy that they give to the 6'8" athletic black guy? Hell no. Why? Because the 5'8" Asian guy ain't making it. Doesn't matter what he does. Or no matter how hard he worked on his game, he ain't making it. The 6'8" black guy might not make it either, but he at least got a shot because he fits some pre-qualifications for the opportunity. Everyone does not get the same circumstance. Everyone does not start at the same starting line. This is just part of the game, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not saying that it's right or wrong. This is just part of the game called life. Not everybody gets to try out for the basketball team. At least not at the pro level. They don't. Opportunity often, ladies and gentlemen, requires something called qualification. Can we agree that opportunities require qualification? All right. Who here has a job? Who listening to me right now has a job? Were there certain qualifications you needed to meet to get that job? Even if you think your job is a job that, quote unquote, anyone could work. I remember when I was working at McDonald's as a senior in high school, anybody who's listening to this right now could probably work at McDonald's with one exception. There's a qualification to work at McDonald's. You got to be at least 15 or 16 years old to get the job, maybe 14, depending on where you live. But that's the qualification. So if you're 10 years old listening to this with your mother or your father, you are unqualified for the job that I had in McDonald's. You can't work there. All right, you don't get the same opportunity that I got at the time that I was, 17, 18. You don't get that opportunity because you don't meet the qualification. That's the way the game goes, folks. Anybody here is an engineer? All right, did you have to have an engineering degree to get your job? Yes. So I don't have an engineering degree. Could I do what you do? No. Should I get equal opportunity to try out for the job as you did? No. Why? Because I do not meet the qualifications. And we cannot entertain. Life is too short for us and certain establishments to entertain every person who wants a chance. Everybody doesn't get the same chance because everybody ain't the same. So therefore, it makes sense that everybody doesn't get the same chance. Should ladies out there who are listening to me, if you like dating tall guys, you like tall men, do you give equal opportunity to short guys? No. Why? Because they don't meet your qualification. Your qualification is, if I'm going to date a man, he needs to be taller than me. All right. That doesn't mean you're going to date every man who's taller than you, but he needs to at least have that for you to even consider him eligible. So you meet a man who's 5 inches shorter than you. Does he meet the qualification? No. Do you give him equal opportunity that you give to the guy who's a foot taller than you? No. Why? Because you have qualifications in place and you are allowed to have qualifications for what you want. You like what you like. That's just what the deal is. Everybody understand that? Does Jennifer Lopez give equal opportunity to every man who wants to date her? No. She has some qualifications in place for what she likes and what she doesn't like. The job that you work at right now, those of you who are business owners, do you have certain qualifications in place for who can work for you? Of course you do. Do you want somebody working for you who just wants to use the job at your company as a pit stop so they can learn everything that you do and then go off and become your competitor a year later? Probably not. I'm assuming most of you probably wouldn't want that if you're an entrepreneur and you're a business owner. So do they fit the qualifications of what you're looking for? Probably not. Much of life, ladies and gentlemen, is set up in this way, that there are qualifications for you to even get the opportunity. You don't even get an opportunity if you don't meet the qualifications. All right, can everybody go play on the Alabama or the Penn State or the Washington State football team in college? No. Why? Because to play college football, you got to be a college student. If you're not enrolled in college, you can't try out for the football team. And if you can't play football, you don't have any kind of background or resume that says you can actually play, there are a lot of teams that won't even think about giving you a chance simply because you don't meet the qualifications. Why do we need you when we got all these guys who've actually proven that they can play at all these other levels? What do we need you for? Why do we need to give you an opportunity? We know from our experience, this is the team talking, that you probably don't even come close to measuring up to what these kids can do. Why do we need to even look at you? We don't need to give you an opportunity. That's it. Forget social justice. That is social justice, that we're not wasting our social time dealing with you. We're not wasting our time socializing with you, and that gives us the justice to have a good team. All right, this is part of life, ladies and gentlemen, that there are qualifications in place that filter out people who are not qualified to do certain jobs. Or any of you has ever applied for a job or solicited applications for a job? Usually you do that by doing what? Posting a job description. What is in your job description? Here's the company, here's who we are, here's what we're doing, here's what we're looking for. Here's what your roles will look like. Here would be your responsibilities. Here's how we're going to measure the quality of your work. And guess what? The last thing is, here are the requirements for anyone to apply for this job. If you want to apply for this job, you need to have a college degree. If you want to apply for this job, you need to live in this town. If you want to apply for this job, you need to know how to use Google Docs. You need to know how to use Outlook. You need to know how to manage QuickBooks. If you don't know these things, or you have no idea what the hell I'm talking about, you do not qualify for the job. If I'm hiring a graphic designer, you better know how to use Canva and Photoshop. And if you don't, then do not apply for the job. You do not meet the qualifications that I'm looking for. Therefore, I'm not giving everybody equal opportunity. No, you can't learn on the job. Not at this company you can. You learn the job at their company, but not at this one you can't. Everyone does not get equal opportunity in life, ladies and gentlemen, because the filters are in place to save all of us time. They're in place to save me time from having to go through 1,000 applicants, but instead only get 10, and they're all highly qualified for what I look for. And so it's a tough decision for me because all of them are very qualified for the job that I want to fill. But I got to go through 1,000 and over 90% of them aren't qualified for the job. That's a waste of my resources. And guess what? Time, money, attention, energy, focus, those resources matter a lot to me. I put the qualifications in so I don't have to waste my most valuable resource, time, on people that I know don't fit the bill. Ladies, you like dating tall men. Are you going to waste your valuable resource of time talking to a guy who's shorter because he might be able to win you over? Probably not. And hey, maybe he's an amazing guy, but it don't matter. You know why? He doesn't get equal opportunity. That's just the game. If nobody ever told you, now you know. Point number 2. Today's topic, the question that I'm answering is, what about equal opportunity? Doesn't everyone deserve it? The answer is hell no. Number 2, but you may be saying, what about, Dre, if somebody comes from a very rough background? What if someone comes from an impoverished family, or they come from an impoverished area and they never had the chance that other people have had? What if they didn't have parents who set them up for success? What if they were not in the type of environment that was conducive to learning or personal growth or anything that has to do with personal development? No one has ever talked to them about that. No one has ever put them on to game. No one has ever given them any kind of opportunity. They've been given, it's not even that they've been denied opportunity. They've been given it, whatever the opposite of opportunity is, that's all they've had in their lives up to this point. What about those people, Dre? Shouldn't those people be given something? Shouldn't those people be thrown a bone in some way, shape, or form to kind of level the playing field between them and the people who did have opportunity? What about that, Dre? I did a masterclass called Hard Work Ain't Enough. And it was episode number 10. I believe it was 10. No, it wasn't the one that I thought it was. I'm looking for it right now. The elements that you will need to be successful in life. Masterclass number 1139 is the number of it. Number 1139. You can listen to the masterclass, or you can just go to hardworkaintenough.com, where I actually did this in video format, and you can watch it for yourself. In that masterclass, I'm talking about the 8 elements that are required for you to become successful in life outside of hard work. So the guy whose whole brand is called Work on Your Game, I did a whole masterclass explaining to you that work alone is not the key element to success. Now, does it matter? Yes. Is it the only element? No. Is it the most important element? Probably not. There are 8 other elements that are just as, if not more important than hard work for you to become successful in life. Again, it's at hardworkaintenough.com. Let me tell you what the first one is, okay? I'm gonna let the cat out the bag. Luck. Yes, you heard me correctly. Luck. L-U-C-K is one of the elements of success in life. You got to get lucky to become successful in some areas. Masterclass number 854, I gave you a luck strategy of being outside often. Masterclass number 840, does luck matter? Yes, and I tell you how to actually use luck. Masterclass number 405, I tell you why the results you're getting have nothing to do with luck. Number 280, I told you how anybody can get lucky one time, but if you're real, you can do it over and over again. And in Masterclass number 1220, I told you how to create and manufacture your own luck. And in Masterclass number 1154, I told you that luck does matter and here's what to do about it. So I've given you everything you need to know about luck. I've been giving you the game. I want you to understand luck matters. Sometimes in life, some of us get the unlucky hand of being dealt not much opportunity. Some of us get dealt a hand of having a whole lot of opportunity. We just got handed these cards. We didn't work for it. We didn't ask for it. We didn't strategize for it. We didn't plan for it. It just happened like that for us. And some people are somewhere in between. We got a few things working in our favor and a few things not. This is the luck of the draw, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, that's the answer. This is the luck of the draw. Some people get unlucky hands. Some people get super lucky hands, and everybody else is somewhere in between. Bad luck and good luck are real things. I'm letting that thought sink in. Bad luck and good luck do exist, and they're real. If you've had bad opportunity luck, meaning you haven't been given the same opportunities as other people, you weren't even born with some basic level opportunities, but you're still around and know about it and talk about it and identify it, let me tell you what you should do. You're going to have to work harder than everybody else. If luck did not shine on you, you didn't find a 4-leaf clover when you were born, you got to work a lot harder than the people who did. Nothing's going to be handed to you. All right, nobody's going to level the playing field to make it easier for you. This is the game that you're in. Why? I can't explain that. It's just life. This is the game, ladies and gentlemen. Now, while on this show, I'm always going to tell you ways that you can work on your game, what you can focus on, and what you can do for yourself. We always bring it back to ourselves. Understand that there are times on this show I'm going to tell you, listen, these are the things that you're going to have to do, and it may be disproportionate to what other people have to do. You might have to work 10 times harder than somebody else to get the exact same opportunity. Why? Because that's just the way the game is set up. Sometimes it's just like that. Now, you can go find some other motivator or influencer or whatever the hell people are calling themselves these days who will tell you that it's not your fault and that something needs to be changed and that you need to go protest about it, or maybe you can go vote for this person, or maybe you can start this hashtag and maybe things will start working in your favor. But while you're doing all that, all right, the people who have more opportunity than you are getting even further ahead of you. And by the time you finally realize that that shit ain't going to change anything, and you finally start working, all right, now you got to work 20 times harder because you didn't listen to me and you listen to those people who want to tell you that it's not your fault and you ain't got to do anything to get your own game where you want it to be. Sometimes in life, you just get dealt a shitty hand and you got to play it out. And if you ever play cards, any card game, sometimes you just get dealt some shitty cards, at least as far as that game goes, and you just got to take the L on that hand, or maybe in that game. Maybe you lose a little bit of money. It's just what it is. This is how it works, folks. If you listen to this show, for any amount of time, I've told you plenty of stories of luck not working in my favor. I went to a high school that didn't have a freshman basketball team. We didn't have a JV basketball team. Had we had one, maybe I would have developed a little bit earlier. Maybe I would have become a better player. Maybe my career would have been completely different. I got recruited to go to a college to play basketball, which is a great thing. That sounds like good luck or hard work paying off, right? As they like to say. And then that coach who recruited me, he got fired, new coach came in, I was off the team again. Or I was off the team, not again, but I was off the team, out of the program. That sounds like some really bad luck. And I wasn't out of the program because I couldn't play. I was out of the program because new coaches sometimes clean house. Bad luck. I didn't complain about it. What did I do? I worked on my game. So I'm not sitting here looking at you from high above of my perch of great luck and telling you you got to work harder because you weren't as lucky as I was. Listen, I faced bad luck as well. And I dealt with it. I didn't complain about it. I didn't bitch about it. I didn't write a book about having bad luck. I wrote a book about, listen, this is how you work on your game to get to where you need to go. Sometimes the shit is just fucked up. That's just what it is. Now, again, you can go talk to somebody else. You can go get a second opinion from somebody who's going to tell you that none of it is your fault and you don't need to do anything, that everything needs to change except you. All right, good luck. All right, there you go. There's some luck for you right there. Point number 3. Today's topic is, what about equal opportunities, right? Doesn't everybody deserve it? And the answer is hell no. Number 3, for the most part, ladies and gentlemen, when people mention equal opportunity, they're not really talking about equal opportunity. What people are really talking about is equal outcomes. And we know that equal outcomes are impossible because everybody makes different choices. Human beings are not the same. If you put 2 guys in the gym, one guy is 5'8" and the other guy is 6'8", and you tell them and you had them play basketball, the 5'8" guy's probably going to lose. All right, the outcome, he's probably going to lose every single game. It's not going to be a 50-50 thing, especially if the 5'8" guy doesn't play basketball and the 6'8" guy does. Why? Because they got different skills. They have different abilities. All right, now you put those 2 guys, that 5'8" guy and the 6'8" guy, in a computer lab and tell them to put together some code. Maybe the 5'8" guy starts kicking the 6'8" guy's ass. All right, they will be completely unequal in depending on what form you put them in. All right, depending on what arena each one of those individuals is in. This is just the way that the game is. All right, and this is where in life these days the metaphorical and the proverbial and actually sometimes real participation trophy comes into play. When people are talking about equal opportunity and they really mean equal outcomes, what they're saying is everybody should get a participation trophy. Everybody should get some kind of win, some kind of success in what they're doing. Just because they're alive, just because they're on the planet, just because they're here, they deserve some kind of recognition just because. Bullshit. No, they don't. I'm letting that one sink. As far as race goes, when people are talking about equal opportunity, Now people want to get equal outcomes there. Right? It ain't going to happen. And no matter how you divide it, if you divide it by gender, by race, by nationality, by the backgrounds, you are never going to get the same outcomes. And everybody's not going to get the same opportunities. It's not possible because, listen, what I talked about a couple of days ago, different cultures emphasize different things. In the culture that I grew up in, when I was growing up, there was a time when being smart in school, you were a negative thing. There were derogatory terms put on you because you were smart in school, because you were trying hard in school. And there were other people that I went to school with who were from other cultures where being smart was the best thing to do. It wasn't even talked about. Nobody even talked about the fact that they were smart or not, because it was just a normal thing for them. It was cultural for them to do that. And it was cultural for us to not do it. Now, again, I don't know what it's like here today, but there are certain elements of the culture that I come from that are not conducive to people getting better. They're not conducive to actually working on your game. They're conducive to going backwards. And in life, you're either getting better or you're getting worse. And in other cultures, I'm not from these other cultures, so I can't speak on them as well as I can speak on the culture that I come from. Completely different things. The complete opposites are emphasized. So how is everybody going to get the same outcome if we're not even playing the same game? Well, it's a trick question. We won't. In black culture, for example, we have, for whatever reason, been conditioned to disproportionately pursue entertainment and sports careers compared to, let's just say, Asians. As far as what I know, again, I'm not Asian, who emphasize education and a lot of them become engineers or doctors. Now, is this stereotypical what I just said? Yes. But is it true? Yes. It's stereotypical and true. All right, sometimes stereotypes are true. Sometimes they ain't, and sometimes they are. So how the hell are we going to have equal outcomes if everybody's going after different goals? It doesn't make any sense, does it? But you can go on social media. You see people talking about equality and getting the same things and having the same opportunities. Makes no sense. Everybody's going after different things, and people are starting at different starting lines when we talking about equality. People can use that hashtag, this phrase forever, that we need equality, because it will never be achieved. So they'll always have something to fight for, I suppose, if you want to call it that. Even if the opportunities are the same, ladies and gentlemen, we still got to live with the opportunities, and we still have to take certain actions to get certain outcomes. And everybody is not going to take the same actions because not everybody thinks the same way. So when people are talking equal opportunity, they're not really looking at where people are starting. They're looking at where people finish. Think about that. Next time you hear somebody talking about equality, ask them, how do you know it's not equal now? Then look at what they're measuring. Are they measuring where people are finishing? Are they looking at the finish line and where people are finishing and saying, oh, it's not equal because of the finish? Or are they saying it's not equal because of the start? Either way, it doesn't matter. But a lot of times people say equal opportunity, but they're looking at the finish line. That's an outcome. The finish line is the outcome. Starting line is the opportunity. Some people don't show up to the starting line because their parents didn't know there was a starting line, didn't bring them. Not the kid's fault. Again, this is a metaphor. And you just got to work extra hard. You got to go a little bit harder. You got to show up a little bit earlier. You got to stay a little bit later. And you might have to put in work for an extra year compared to everybody else simply because you weren't given the same opportunity. Now, again, you want to rail against that? You want to change the world? Go ahead. Good luck. If you do it, you start your own podcast, explain to people how you did it. But until then, work on your game. You're just going to have to go a little bit harder than everybody else. Point number 4. Topic here today is, Dre, what about equal opportunity? Doesn't everybody deserve that? Answer is no. Number 4, here's the biggest issue when we talk equal opportunity. If you were to give everybody the same opportunity, or make sure that everyone gets the same outcomes, somehow, some way you're able to manufacture that everyone gets the exact same outcomes. Here's the biggest issue that's going to come from that. There will be people who are not prepared to handle opportunity that they have not earned and not worked for. I had a basketball teammate, who told me once in high school, his coach wasn't giving him a lot of playing time. He wasn't playing a lot. So he complained to his coach in practice one day, or maybe it was outside of practice. He said to the coach, yo, I'm better than the guy who's playing ahead of me. Let me play. Give me more playing time. Now, this is something that usually when a player does this, it doesn't produce any kind of result, 99 times out of 100. But this player, according to the story he told me, he said this to the coach, and the coach actually listened. The coach obliged, and the next game, the coach put this player in the game and let him play more than he had played all season. And this player had like 10 turnovers in the first half of the game. This same player who had complained about not getting playing time. Those of you who don't know basketball, a turnover is a bad thing. All right, so he basically made 10 mistakes that was hurting the basketball team in a very short period of time in the game. And the coach seeing this guy making all these mistakes over and over again, left him in the game. He didn't take him out, even though he kept making mistakes. Why did the coach leave him in the game? Now, the coach didn't tell me this, but I'm going to assume he left him in the game to teach him a lesson and let him know, all right, this is why you don't play. All right, this is why you're on the bench, because you're not ready to play. Sometimes in life, we get handed opportunity. People bitch and complain that they're not getting certain opportunities. Then as soon as you give them the opportunity, they fuck it up because they were not prepared for the opportunity in the first place, which is why they should not have had it to begin with. There's a college professor, I heard him telling this story, that he was teaching his classes, obviously in college, and he noticed that a lot of the minority students were failing in his class. And they weren't failing just a little bit, they were failing a lot in that they couldn't keep up with the coursework. They weren't passing the tests. They didn't know how to study. They didn't have proper study habits. They didn't know how to take notes in class. He realized that many of these students just were completely unprepared for the rigors of the university that he was working at. And we know that different colleges, there's levels to this shit, right? The education levels at different schools. And what he realized was a lot of the minority students, the reason why they were failing at the university he was teaching at is because they were affirmative action enrollees. Basically, those of you who don't know what affirmative action is a program that was put in place to make sure a certain percentage of people from different ethnic groups were admitted to a university. Not based on merit, but based on race. So for example, let's take a random school, College X. They're admitting 100 new students. Instead of just admitting 100 best students, might be 100 Asians, might be 50 Asians, 50 white people, 48 white people, 2 black people. Instead of just admitting 100 best qualified students for their school, the affirmative action program said, no, you can't do that anymore. You need to give a certain percentage of your enrollments to a certain minority ethnic groups just to make it a little bit more, quote, equal, close quote. So even though the most qualified 100 students were all Asian and white, now at least 10 of those enrollees need to be black, even though they're not qualified to get into this school based on everyone else who's already in there. These 10 students have to get into this school. So those 10 students get enrolled into College X, and they end up either failing out, or they struggle, or even if they graduate, they're in the lower third of the class. So the lower half of their class when they graduate, whereas had they gone to a different school that they actually qualified to go to, they might graduate top of their class. They might look a lot better. It might look a lot better on their resume to have gone to the school they qualified for and graduated at the top than graduate in the bottom quarter at a school that they didn't qualify for in the first place, and or flunking out of that school that they didn't qualify for in the first place. This is one of the things that affirmative action, at least when it came to education, did. It forced people who were unqualified for certain roles into those roles, and then they fail in those roles, and then people say, oh, well, it's not equal enough. Let's make some other changes. The handout that was designed to help people succeed actually caused them to fail even faster. Or fail, period, when they would have succeeded had the handout not been created in the first place. Sometimes in life, you're not getting an opportunity because you're not prepared for the opportunity. You are not skilled enough for the opportunity. You are just not good enough for the opportunity. That's why you're not getting it. When you become good enough for the opportunity, you'll have it. Maybe it's a whole different opportunity you should have out there, but instead of focusing on finding it, you're looking at the one that you don't have, and therefore you're stagnant. Equal opportunity is a myth, ladies and gentlemen. Just like equality, period, is a myth. Let's recap today's class, which is, Dre, what about equal opportunity? Does everyone deserve it? The answer is hell no. Number one, should everyone have equal opportunity? It's impossible. Definition of equal is everyone having the same amount. Definition of opportunity is a set of circumstances that makes it possible to do something. So does everyone get the same amount of circumstances? Is everybody's circumstances exactly the same? Is any of you had the exact same circumstances that I have? No, nobody has the exact same circumstances. So how the hell can you create equal opportunity? Is it possible for everyone to have the same? No. Sometimes in life, there are qualifications in place. Many times in life, there are qualifications in place that filter out people who do not fit and will not fit no matter what you do. Does J-Lo give equal opportunity to every man who wants to date her? No. Does an engineering company give equal opportunity to every person who applies who don't even have an engineering degree, didn't even go to college? No. Why? Because it saves them the most precious and valuable resource, which is time. Number two, what about if you have a rough background? What if you came from an impoverished area or didn't get the same chance as everybody else? Shouldn't something be put in place, some kind of mechanism be put in place to level the playing field for you? No. Hardworkandenough.com. I told you, luck is one of the most important aspects of success in life, either good luck or bad luck. Sometimes good luck is shining on you. Sometimes bad luck shits on you. That is the game, people. Sometimes you might just have to work a little bit harder, maybe a lot. Number 3, for the most part, when people talk about equal opportunity, what they really mean is equal outcomes. Not everybody's racing the same race. Not everybody's running the same race. Not everybody starts at the same starting line. And not everyone definitely is going to have the exact same outcomes. It's just the way that it is in life. Look around in your life and you can see this very clearly, even with people who seemingly are very similar to you. Number 4, the biggest issue overall is that many people will not be prepared to handle opportunity that they did not work for and did not earn. You hand somebody an opportunity that they did not earn, they will probably fumble it or fuck it up. And they're taking the opportunity off the table for someone who actually earned it simply because we're trying to manufacture equality. It is impossible. We can keep trying. It will continue to fail. Work on your game. Dre all day.